In our yesterday session, we understood more about optional class. What is an optional class? Why it is introduced by Java language as part of Java 8 features. So we try to understand. It's all about passing the value as in a container point of view. The optional class is being used. So that means before Java 8, so whenever we are returning any value, whenever a method is returning any value, so sometimes there is a possibility of returning null also. So whenever the method returns null and people are not written the null checks, and if they are trying to do any operations on that result value, what is going to happen here? It is null pointer exceptions. We used to see that. So that null pointer exception we used to get like anything in previous applications, and we used to write every time. Most of the times, whenever we are calling a method, whenever you got the result from the method, result means return value, then we have to make sure always null checks we have to write. Null checks means if it is null, what has to be done, if it is not null, what has to be done. Like that we used to write the logic that is called as null checks. Okay, so this became a biggest issue as part of every application development. Okay, to write the null checks and to avoid the null pointer exceptions. But after that, by to resolve this issue only, what Java came up with concept called as a container class called as optional class. So what they are trying to say here it is, instead of returning the either null or real value, okay, not null value, nothing but whenever a method is implemented, so you can take that value as part of optional. Put that value inside optional. If it is null value, when you are trying to return null, instead of returning null, just return optional of empty. So that means now the null, you are not getting the real null. You are getting an object, a container object, an optional object. So that means what is the advantage of that is, so that whenever you see, this method is returning actually a real content by keeping inside the optional container. The real content is, it might be string objects, student objects, array list object, list of objects, any object, any content we can keep inside the optional. So now the method return container object. That means internally it contains the real data. In case if it is null, whenever that method is trying to return null, instead of returning null, they are returning empty container. Empty container. So that what is the advantage here it is, you are getting everything as an object, whether it in place of null also, yesterday if you observed, so whenever you have a value, you are putting inside the container optional and you are returning it. So that here I am checking it by taking that optional object. So now I call the method and I got optional object. I got optional object. And then I am checking by using predefined methods from the optional class, I am verifying a real content available inside the container or not. So yes, available. That's why we can do rest of the operations. If not available, then what has to be done? We will take care of it like that. Okay, similarly, when the method is trying to return null, so instead of returning null, what it was suggesting is, don't return the null, just return empty container. It's nothing but what is the meaning? This method is trying to return null only. So in place of null, you are just returning, instead of saying like null, you are just returning like empty container. Now what is the advantage of this? Again, you got an object. So you are checking with method whether value presented or not in this container or not. If presented, do something. If not presented, if else, okay. If it is not presented, do something. Like that, we can write our own checks here. We can write our own checks and we can implement the logic. No value present like. So that now you can avoid lot of null pointer exception and you can avoid null checks also. But it looks like a very previous logic like null check point of view, whatever we implemented earlier also. If result is not equal to null, do this thing like that. Same way here also we written, but we take an only thing is a predefined method from the optional class point of view, right? So the advantage of optional class here, it is not only these things, and we will see few more extra methods available as part of the optional class. So by using those things, you can achieve couple of other use cases also. Like that is why it got popularity, optional class, and people started using the optional objects. So it's better to return always. Okay, instead of returning nulls and all going further, you can also make sure returning the empty in case in place of null, or you if and whenever you are returning a real data also, you return keep the data inside the optional, and finally make your method as a with return type with optional of that respective data type like that. Okay, so now let's see a few other methods as part of our optional class itself, and then we will understand why it is introduced actually. So that it's a just utility class, guys. So there is no much impact of this class on our day-to-day application development, but yes, it is a utility class. Utility means you can use in any in I mean, what is the meaning of utility here? It is you can utilize this class wherever you are having some null pointer issues and all. So to resolve that issues, you can utilize this class wherever you want. Okay, so let's see the couple of other methods also as part of this optional only. Okay, so yesterday if you observed here, already we taken 3 4 methods in this case from the optional class. What is the off method? Off method is all about storing the value inside the optional. So to keep a value inside the optional container, you have to utilize off method. So that means you are creating optional object, and inside that you are keeping the real objects, not null values. Off method. So that is what off method here it is. So what is the empty method is? So the moment you are returning empty means you are returning just empty container. So that means it's an empty container. There is no data, there is no value inside the container. There is no value. So like that. Off method is all about with value. So internally it have you can keep array list objects, whatever it is. Any object you can keep inside inside the list. So this is what will happen. Now what is the is present method is doing? So whenever we got this method here called and we got a optional object, what we are doing is we are checking is present. Is present means we are checking the received container is having any content or not. So that means if it is having any content, it will return true. It doesn't have any content, it will return false. Nothing but value is not presented. So that then if value is presented, then to retrieve that value, okay, the real value, you will use get method. You will use get method. You will use the get method to get that to get see put for putting the value of to get to receive I mean to extract the value or to get the value get method. Very simple method names only. Okay, so get method. So then you will get what real data value. How do you know that it is a string value inside container is available? Yes, here you declare, as well as whenever you return here also we declare, right? If you declare student here, then it will be like student. So like that. Okay, now similarly we have some other methods also. Let's try to understand. If you see here, result dot is present, we just understand, right? Is empty. So what is the meaning of is empty? Is empty also similar to is present only. So that means in this case, first of all, we are checking is presented or not. If presented, you will get it true. If value presented. In this case, if value not presented, then only you will get the true. So in this case, if presented, you will get the true or else false. True, otherwise true. Okay, this method will read. Otherwise, you will get false. But in this case, just opposite to this one only. So if container is empty, so container is empty, that means optional container is an empty. That means no value presented. Okay, so no value presented. Presented means you will get false in this case. Otherwise, you will get. So yes, value just Both are same. I mean, just little bit opposite thing. That's all. So else means what? Value is presented in this case if you are using this method. So that means value is presented means you can extract that value and you can do rest of the operations whatever you want to do on that. Okay. So this is one more method. Is empty, is present. Both are similar functionality. Just only thing is present directly returns true when value contains. Is present returns false when value contains. Like that. So based on your requirement, what you have to, you can take anything else. You can take any method. So now if you take an else method also, that will happen. Sorry, is empty method. So that means what is the advantage? Now see here, you are not dealing with the null keyword because the null keyword is very dangerous keyword. In entire Java development point of view, the null is the keyword is the most dangerous keyword. Okay. So most dangerous means it used to give always, if you are not properly written the logic somehow and you are dealing with the null keywords most of the times. See, when you are working for real-time applications, it's a hundreds of Java classes, thousands of lines. Okay, so thousands of methods. So that means what will happen if you are every time you are dealing with null keyword means it's a, I mean we are just making, there is a possibility of okay missing something and trying to get null pointer exceptions. But here you are trying to get everything. You are avoiding the null keyword and you are making everything as a optional object point of view, and based on that you are making the cross checking value presented or not, like that. So yesterday we got one more thing also. For example, if I use the get method without check, if I use the get method and there is optional is empty, so that means my question is if optional container is empty and then I called get method and then I called get method, what will happen? So optional is empty but still I called and then we called get method, what will happen? You will get an exception. What exception? No such element exception. No such element exception. So that means in this case also you will get an exception. But what exception you will get is no such element exception. When you are directly calling get method, okay, directly calling get method on empty container. For example, here you are not getting any error, here you are not getting any error. Why? Because you have a real value. Now, if I don't have a value and I'm calling the get method. So see here, result dot get. Blindly I am calling the get method. So what is your intention here? It is you are going to get the string some value, right? Now sys out of print that value. What is the value available inside that value to uppercase or whatever it is. Now see what will happen. You will get no such element exception. But in earlier two cases you got no value present, no value present. So that means what? You have to utilize these methods properly when you are getting the optional container. It's better to write always this check is presented or not, then only do the get operation. If you are doing get operation directly when you are implementing the real-time applications level, if you are using get directly, there is a scope, there is a possibility. Again, you are making some exceptions. Okay, so that's why it's better to take always a check, cross check. Okay, that is how you have to use the get method. Get is all about getting the value in a simple. Okay, fine. Let's do one thing. I'll take one more class for new examples. Okay, so I'll take a quickly a new class, Java class, something like product. Okay, extra properties and all you can take. I just created setter getter methods. Just okay. So now let's see public product optional of product. Get product info. Something like maybe assume you're passing some product ID and then it is giving based on that product details, whatever it is. Just kind of logic in real time point of view. Now, the moment whenever you return, sometimes there is a possibility of it is returning empty also because why product ID not found. So assume product ID not found. Product ID not found. So that what it is returning empty. So what is why I taken this example is what I am keeping this time product object. Let's deal with this case optional of okay demo. Let's create object for this. Yeah, demo dot. What is the method you are calling? Get a product info. So I'm passing something like 10 or whatever it is. Okay, I'll write something like this. Equal to list of product ID 2 and then see off is a static method from the list interface. We discussed static methods in our previous sessions also. Interfaces level static methods. So they provided directly initializing the couple of values as a list level. Okay, so just take more products if you are interested. So assume these are the products available. So if products contains, so yeah, see the real good example I got now. So what you understood from this is what you have to understand now. So if you observe here, filter method I'm calling. That means what my intention is, I'm just checking given product ID matching with anything or not. If matching, then Stream API provided a method called as find first method. So what is the meaning of it is the moment it find, it has to return that object. It has to return that object. But here find first return method, return type is what? Observe, optional, optional of object. So in this case, the find first method is returning always optional of which object? Product object. Optional of product. Okay. So that is what it is always. Okay, ignore that warning. So it is just find first method is returning what? Optional object. So this is the one of the example predefined method find first from the stream API returning optional. So if you go to the find first also, you will see optional object. Optional of what? Product object. Now here I'll get what object? Result when I'm calling that method get product info equal to like that. I'll get it. So here the container, you got optional container. Now what you have to do in this case? So you have to write always checks. If product info dot is present, then extract the product data and print the product information. Okay, and then print the product information. So now see here, you return the check and you are getting it. So now the get ID I am passing 10. So is it existed? No. That means nothing will happen. So if you return else statement also, again no product form. So if you see here, no product from. So these are the real-time examples, guys. This is how you are going to operate by using Stream API, and internally find first method is returning optional. Even we have one more method called as find any method. So that will also return optional only. So you have one more method find any. So that is also an optional. So if I given here again value 1. So if I am passing again, you will get the product ID value 1. But here you are not worrying about the null keywords, returning the nulls and all. Even this predefined methods also nowadays they are returning optional only. If value presented, they are giving the value. If value not presented, they are giving empty container instead of nulls. So that is how optional class being used. Okay, so let's see any other predefined methods available from this optional or not. Okay, product info dot, that is what right. So get method we completed, is empty we completed. Filter I'll explain. See, below filter I called on the stream API, guys. Same filter method available on the what optional class level also. You have a method called as filter method. Yeah, what it is taking? Predicate argument. Predicate is nothing but functional interface, nothing but lambda expression. So what is the meaning of filter method in this case? Okay, so is present we discussed, is empty also we discussed. So it is also same kind of thing, only value is presented inside container or not, point of it will use. And we have again filter method. So filter method internally taking again predicate. So predicate means it takes a argument and it returns results always in the Boolean format. So that means what is the point of filter method in the optional point of view? What it will do is, see, you got a container. Now, if in the container, so when you will use predict filter method is, so whenever you want to filter or you want to identifying container value. Container value means whatever available inside the optional. Okay, is matching to a specific condition or not? To a specific condition or not? To a specific criteria or not? So if matching, do something. If not matching, do something. So what is the point here? It is, what is the point here? And I'm trying to say here it is. For example, you got optional object, okay, and inside optional you have a inside optional you have a content also. You have a, so this is optional, and you have a value also. Okay, it might be object, it might be anything, object or string value, whatever it is. So you have a content also. It's not empty optional. So now whenever I am applying filter here, now I'm calling a method filter on this means, here I'm calling a filter means what? I want to filter maybe the value object based on my requirement point of view. The object is matching to my condition or not. If matching, then only get this value, something like that. If not matching, even I don't want that value. For example, assume in this case, so I want to verify, I'll do one small thing to our existing program. What I will do is I'll add one more property here. Private boolean is expired. Okay, so I'm just passing expired or also not. So iPhone 16, maybe the date is expired or whatever it is. Okay, don't think too much about it. Expired true, expired false, expired true, something like that. Okay, cool. Now my criteria here it is in this case point of view. For example, okay, whenever you passed what you passed, you passed product ID 1. Then the moment you passed, you got this object as a container inside the container. Okay, like one iPhone 16, okay, expiry true, something like that. Now I want to verify the moment I got optional object, I want to verify internally object is matching to my condition or not. Nothing but, so if it is expired, I want to check like this. If expired, if expired, pass, do some other logic, do something. If not expired, do something like that. So I have to filter whether expired or not is one of the condition in this case. So you are making this filter on which operation, which object level means here in this object level. So if your optional is empty, then you can't make the filter also. So you will get an exception point of view that we will see that. Okay, let's see here now what I will do. Option filter. So inside that, whatever the object comes, product object, I'll make like product dot is expired, okay, is expired, then do something. Okay, is expired, if not, okay, is expired equal to false, then get it, then get the method, something like that. Okay, okay, I think you can use not operator, that's what it is trying to say. So simply applying the not is important. Okay, Eclipse is suggesting, like, sorry, IntelliJ is suggesting instead of writing this you can use not also, that's a good option. Okay, then you are doing the get. That means what you are trying to do, I'm okay, if it is not expired, then only I want the details. Not expired, then only print it, then only print, then only get the details, whatever it is, then only get it. So now what is the advantage of this is product, okay, product equal to, so let's see here what will happen now. So it is suggesting is present check is somewhat required. Well, that is what I said, right? Even so our editor also support suggesting like go with is present check. It's better to go always with is present check. But anyway, that point we discussed. So we are giving existing value only. One I given existing value, right? So let's see here. One. Okay, let's do one thing. Yeah. If you see here, you got that, right? So I just freshly taken it. Okay. So the moment I got pass it to here, what happened? It is to not expired. That's why you got it. If I given again one, so what will happen? See here, you got no such element exception. So that means what? It's an expired one. It's an so why it is giving no such element exception? Why you are calling? If you observe the filter method return type, what is the filter method return type again? Optional. If you see here, what it is returning again? Optional only. So if you go to the documentation, optional documentation. That's why documentation is more important. It will resolve some of the issues. If you go to the filter method, yeah, filter method. So the moment it is applying the filter, that's okay. But after that, again, it is returning what? Optional only. The return type is optional. So in this case, what happened? The moment you given this, okay, filter condition expired. One is expired, obviously, right? One is expired product. So that's why what it is doing is it's returning empty optional. It's returning empty optional. So in this case, what I can do is I'll say like this. Again, you will get one more optional object. One more optional object you will get with product. Result. Again, you got one more optional. So now if you can check like is it presented or not like that. If presented, then get the value like this and print the information like this. So filter method is just checking you're applying a filter. Again, you will get this thing. Here you got the real value. Okay, here you got the real product object, this all information. But after applying the filter condition, what happened? It became empty. It became empty. So let me write down expired. So what will happen with this? If you see here, understand the output now. No product found or expired. So what's happened here? It is, yeah. The moment you passed one here, yeah, here. One we passed. Then what it is, what it does, it given this product object as into optional. Okay, fine. So now product 2 contains this information. After that, in the next line, what you did, you applied a filter and you are checking is expired or not. So is it expired? False. So that means, I mean, is it expired means true. True means you given not means false. So that means filter condition became false. False means now the moment it is returning optional. So that means in this case also you are getting optional, but there is no content. There is no content. Why? It's became false. The condition became false. That's why not keeping anything. So it's a empty optional. That's why now I return is empty. On the result optional level, I return is empty, and I'm just making if not available. So now if I given here again 2, what will happen? What will happen? Then it will return this one, second product object. And whenever you applied filter is expired false means okay, then you taken as true. I mean negotiation operator you taken. So that's why you can get like true means, yeah, true means what? Then again inside optional, this filter method is making a real product object. Real product object. So then is present, yes, presented. This time it is presented. That's why you'll get and you will see like your second product information like that. So it's all magic. It's all coding skills. Return types. You should have knowledge of methods, return types. Okay, these are all your core knowledge. So that is how the filter method is being used here. The filter method being used in this scenario. Now let's see any other method apart from filter. Okay, I'll take freshly again one more optional. Okay, I'll pass whatever it is, product ID 3. So fresh object. Okay, so let's see any other methods we have to discuss. Get we done, filter we done, is empty, is present. Okay, so you can convert it as a stream. Okay, leave it. Flat map not required in this scenario. If present, yeah, if present. See, is present, if present. There is difference, guys. Is present we discussed. This is the method if present. If present. Okay, that is the difference. If present, what you have to do. If not present, what you have to do. That is the point here it is. So, understand the meaning. If you taken the if present method, so let's see here. If present, yeah, this is the method. See, is present is different. If present is different. Is present is saying like simply checking value is available or not. But if present, you are passing some consumer here it is. You are passing some consumer point of view, something else. And then what will happen? Let's try to see here. So that means if value is present, no need to go with all these methods, but still okay. So this time this method is having an argument. What is the argument? Consumer argument. So what is a consumer generally? When you are passing something, it will process that value, but it will not return anything. That is what consumer, right? So consumer will have an argument, but there is no return. That's what we discussed when consumer point of view. It will have input, okay, but it will not have no return output, no output. That means no return value or nothing. Void. Usually void is the return type for the consumer point of view. We discussed. So what is the meaning of this if present when you have to go for if present method on the optional object is if value is present, invoke the specified consumer with the value, otherwise do nothing. So what is the meaning of it is if value presented in container, nothing but in the optional object, the real value contained, okay, in container, if value is presented inside the container, do some action immediately, do some logic execution or whatever it is, okay, do some action or logic execution, whatever it is, some other execution. Okay, let's see here, let's take the example first, you will understand what I will do. If present, what I'm saying, what I'm doing, I'm printing it. So the product information whatever it is, or else what I will do, I'll take that product object. If present means I'll take that product object and I'll say like immediately sending to delivery or add to stock or something like that, adding to stock details like that. So now what happens here in this case, whenever you pass it 3, three information you will get it. Okay, that means this product information you will get, fine. And what you are doing, whenever it is presented, it is adding the details. So you can do some other logic here. Now you can do lot of other logic here. So like storing into DB. So simple requirement, guys. I'll give like this. If product is fine, if product is fine, then please add to database. This is the requirement I given. Okay, then what you will do? So my point here it is, whenever that method is giving product information, get product info, it is okay. The moment you pass the product ID, if internally with that ID, if there is a product found, please add it to database. Please add to database. If not found, don't do anything. If not found, no need to do anything. No need to do anything. Now you can say one thing, sir, this is also same thing only, right? We are doing here also. If he is present, then I can get it and I can, yes, that means it's, see, this is all shorthand methods. What you are doing in 3 lines, like he is present, then do something, that is all they given in one line itself. That is what the option here it is. So if you are not that much confident with this one, you can go with this basic implementation, like is present, then get, then add to database, then add to database. That is same solution, whatever the requirement I given, adding to stock or whatever it is. If no product, no, that means you are not adding to the stock, right? So similarly same here also, same, but only thing is somehow shorthand method. If present really that product, then add it to stock details, otherwise don't do anything. So see here, now I given 3. So what it is, adding to stock details. Why? It found. If I given 30, there is no product ID 30, right? Now what will happen? Nothing will happen. It went again. Give me a moment. So that is what. Just shorthand method, instead of writing is present, then get. See, nothing what you can say in this case is, internally what it is doing is, it's nothing but, first of all, internally it is doing is present. If presented, then get, and then do whatever, some logic, whatever you want to do, something else. If not present, then don't do anything. Okay, so that means same kind what you did with the help of is present and get methods, same thing in one line they given this with via consumer point of view. Yeah, so if you see here, nothing is happened with this lines, nothing is happened. Why? There is no product. If I given again 3, so you are not getting any exception also in this case. You are not getting any exception also. If product is not there, it's an empty container. It's an empty container. So that means in this case, internally it is checking empty also. So see here, when it is available, it is doing logic. If not available, it's not throwing any exception. That means internally this method is making a check like is presented or not also. That's what I said. It is the combination of is presented and then followed by get method. Internally, whatever the thing we did here, this overall thing, they implemented in single method itself, like that. So that is what about the if present method. So in interviews they will ask you what is the difference between is present and if present. One small single character is changing the entire meaning. Okay, single character. So similarly, do we have any other methods? Let's see here. One more container. So just I'm checking you any methods. Get we are done. Is empty, is present, equals leave it, flash map leave it. If present we discussed. See, if present or else. What is the meaning of if present or else? In this case, what happened? If presented, then only something is happened. If not presented, nothing is happened, right? But in this case, else method is nothing but extended to this version. So in case value not found in this container, then pass at least some message also. In this case, you are not saying something when value is not presented. When value presented, doing something, but not presented, we are not executing any logic. But your requirement is demanding if product is fine, then please add it to the database. If not found, no need to do anything. That is what requirement I given earlier. Now my requirement is changing, like if product is found, add it to DB. If not found, it's okay. Just print, pass a message, something like that. Pass a message, like whatever it is. Pass a message, something like for buying the products or whatever it is. Some message you have to pass. So that means if present or else is going to be same like that. Okay, let's see here. So if present or else, if you see the if present or else from here, it's better. This is which version? Java 8. I want Java 21 versions. The reason is few new methods will be added in the new versions, right? That's what. Okay, I don't want optional double. Okay, so anyway, it's from here I can get it. So see what is the return type, return type of the method and arguments of this one also. If present or else, if you see here, there are two arguments you have to pass this time. One is consumer when presented. One is something else, empty action. Nothing but what it is trying to say is, if found, do this thing. If not found, do this thing. So what has to be done? That you have to pass as a second argument. That you have to pass as a second argument. So let's implement this. Okay, I'll take same logic. If presented, do this thing. Present or else point of view. First argument is this one, comma. Second argument is if not found, then something we have to do, right? So empty. If not found, then what you have to do? Okay, system.out.println no product found or whatever it is. Some message at least you are passing in this case. You are passing some message in this case. So in this case, first argument talking about content form. Content existed inside the optional, then it will be executed. Okay, if content is not existed, then this logic will execute. If content is not existed, whether right or wrong, see. So what I will do here, I will pass 3 first of all, or I'll give 2 also. Pass it, adding to stock because yes, it's found. If I given 20, there is no right. So then this logic will execute. Extended to the if present method. else block also you are added, nothing but. So like that, not no product form. So that is how you can use these methods. Okay, so still any other methods? Product 5. I think this method is added from since 9, Java 9. That's why in Java 8 documents you can't find it. So you have to Java 21 API documentation. Okay, so from you can find out all from here, I think. Whatever it is. Okay, leave it. So let's see any other methods. See, we have done almost all important methods, guys. Especially get method is the most important to get the value, to put the value of method, to check content is available or not, is present, is empty is enough. So like that. But if you are having command on all other methods, it will be important. So map method. What is the meaning of map, guys? So for example, my requirement is like this. What is my requirement is if okay, if product found, okay, then please, okay, get product name only product name, only product name I want to get. So that means in this case assume you given 2, that means what will happen, product is there. So in optional you, so the moment you got in this case, what you will get, product 2 is there, that means you will get in the optional again product object with like 2, and what you given name I don't know, I something I okay Samsung Galaxy or whatever it is, and it's like false or whatever it is. Okay, this is what product object in the optional container level, in this 5 optional 5 level. But what I want, if you are making get call, if you are making get, what will happen, you will get the entire product object like to I okay Samsung Galaxy false all this information, but I don't want everything, I want only name, I want only name Galaxy, I want it, that means only product name I want it. So what you have to do, that is what map method is. So in such cases you can utilize the map. So see here, product info dot map. So you know that map will take what, guys, in stream API also we observe the map method. There also it taken function, here also it is function. That's why I said map and filter methods both are very very important methods. So please get a command on map and filter method. Filter will take predicate, map will take function. So function will take one argument always. So what I will do, argument means one object, anything it will take, and it will get a name. So again what it will return, again what it will return, map, return type of map is what, function, again option only, again optional only. The method return type of map is optional. If you go here, yeah, so what is that, again optional only. So that means again optional means you can add again other optional method point of view. If value is present, do something, or else do something. Okay, if get the name, something like that. But it's better to write is present and all, that's what it is trying to say, but anyway, otherwise you'll get no such element exception. String product name. See, okay, we are not printed it. So now see, you got iPhone 15. Only product name you got it. Only product name you got it. So that is what map is just in case your requirement is demanding from that object, you want to get only okay other properties or you want to process that object, but return type is again by using that object you processed and you got one more return type instead of same return type, then generally you will take the map. So this we discussed in the stream API. Same functionality here also. How map method will work, that is what you have to understand. Okay, so this is how you can. This is all about optional class, guys. Okay, if you are having one or two methods, you can find automatically. You can understand now easily. But we discussed all regularly, used all methods. Mostly we discussed. Okay, but the majority of the times, I told you already, it is always about the most important thing here. It is how to keep values inside the optional. Then nothing but you have to use what? Okay, this is okay. You can use generally optional off method. If you want to store some value inside the optional container, off method. If you want to pass empty container, empty method. If you want to get value from the container, get method. If you want to check container, optional container contains a real object or value or not, is present or is empty methods. It will say only true or false. It will not do anything. Extended to that, we have few methods like if present and all. What those will do? If presented, do immediately some action. If presented, do immediately some action. If not presented, don't do like that. If presented, do some action. If not presented, also do some logic execution. Then you have to go with this. So similarly, filter is all about in the container level, whatever the object is available. If you want to filter something based on the filter, you if you want to apply a condition on that object inside the optional container, then you can go for the filter method. If condition is matching, then you will get again one more optional object with that. Okay, with the same product optional container object point of view. If condition is not matching, then you will get empty optional. So you are filtering like that. So on the optional level, like that. Okay, so these are all the methods. Just please practice all these use cases. Okay, it's a very important thing knowing about because you observe right. Find first. All stream API methods are always returning most of the times optional objects. In most couple of methods are returning always the return type itself optional. So that's why just go through the optional. It's not only here, guys. Tomorrow when you are learning Spring framework, also Spring Boot, also there also you will. Okay, now the Spring Boot framework in lot of modules. In the modules, they are also using this optional in lot of places. So that means this is very important nowadays. It becoming very important. Just go through it. Okay, so let's connect on tomorrow with method references. So it's a very small topic. This is also. I'll complete it. But for this, please go through the functional interfaces once again. I'm telling you guys, please go through the functional interfaces once again, especially function, predicate, consumer, supplier. So method references are also not somewhat, having relation with the functional interfaces as well as lambda expression point of view. So that's why just go through those details. This is also related to functional interfaces and lambda expressions only. But okay, in place of this, we have a lot of alternative solutions. But yes, we can use these solutions also. Couple of examples we'll see, and what is the method references and all we will see tomorrow.